Getting more, guys. I think many viewers are asking the wrong question about this General Hospital storyline. Most fans are focused on Jocelyn's captivity. They want to know when she will escape. They want to know who will find her. They want to know whether Windermere is finally about to give up its latest secret. But if you ask me, the bigger question is much more dangerous. Will Pascal survive long enough to tell Sonny the truth? That is the question I keep coming back to, because the entire storyline seems to revolve around one explosive fact. Pascal knows exactly where Jocelyn is being held, and Lucas has absolutely no idea. The moment I started looking at the story from that angle, everything changed. Suddenly, Pascal is no longer just another villain trying to save himself. He becomes the single most important person in Port Charles. He is holding information that could destroy multiple plans at once. He knows Jocelyn is trapped at Windermere. He knows secrets that could hurt Sidwell. He knows enough to attract Sonny's attention. And perhaps most importantly, he knows too much to remain safe. That is where the pressure begins. At the same time, Pascal's situation is becoming more dangerous by the day because Sidwell is starting to suspect him. Marco's death continues to cast a shadow over everyone involved, and I believe Pascal understands that Sidwell may eventually decide revenge is more important than loyalty. Think about that for a second. Pascal cannot trust Sidwell, but he also cannot trust Sonny. He is trapped between two powerful men for completely different reasons. One wants answers, the other wants revenge, and Pascal is standing right in the middle. Guys, this is exactly why I think Pascal eventually turns towards Sonny. Not because he suddenly develops a conscience, not because he wants to be a hero. He does it because survival becomes his only priority. When a man believes death is approaching from one direction, he often runs toward danger in the other direction. That is precisely what I see happening here. Sonny has his own reasons for wanting Pascal close. Sidwell remains a growing threat. Lara's blackmail situation continues, creating additional complications. The way I see it, Sonny needs information, leverage, and strategic advantages. Pascal can provide all three. For a brief moment, both men believe they can use each other. Pascal thinks Sonny can protect him. Sonny thinks Pascal can help him. But we all know arrangements like that never last very long in Port Charles. Sooner or later, somebody tells the wrong truth, and that is where this story becomes truly explosive. I keep imagining the moment Pascal finally breaks, not because he wants to, because he has to. The walls close in, Sidwell becomes more dangerous, the pressure becomes unbearable. And finally, Pascal sits down with Sonny and reveals the secret he has been hiding. Jocelyn is being held captive, not missing, not hiding, captive at Windermere. If you ask me, that revelation changes everything instantly. In one conversation, Sonny suddenly understands that Jocelyn has been imprisoned for weeks while people around Pascal continued protecting the lie. Every unanswered question suddenly has an answer. Every strange clue suddenly makes sense. And that is exactly when I think the real danger begins. Because many viewers may be looking at Sidwell as Pascal's biggest threat. I am not. The way I see it, Sonny becomes the most dangerous person in the room the moment he learns the truth. Why? Because Sonny's already carrying enormous pressure. Because Sonny is already dealing with enemies. Because Sonny's already facing multiple threats from different directions. Now add one more devastating discovery. Pascal knew. Pascal stayed silent. Pascal helped conceal what was happening while Jocelyn remained trapped. That is the kind of information capable of pushing emotions past the breaking point. Guys, this is where I think the storyline takes its darkest turn. Instead of Sidwell eliminating Pascal, Sonny becomes the one who destroys him. In a moment of anger, shock, and emotional overload, Sonny loses control. What begins as a confrontation becomes something much worse. And suddenly, Pascal's desperate attempt to save his own life ends in complete disaster. Ironically, the confession that was supposed to protect him becomes the reason he dies. That is why I find this storyline so fascinating. Pascal spends weeks protecting a secret because he fears death. Then he finally reveals the secret because he fears death. And in the end, death finds him anyway. Um, that is tragic, but it is also classic soap storytelling. Yet, here is where many people stop looking. I don't, because Pascal's death is not the ending, it is the beginning. Once Pascal is gone, a new problem immediately emerges. Jocelyn is still trapped. Think about that. The secret is out. The confession has happened. Pascal is gone, but the rescue has not happened yet. That creates an entirely new race against time. And if you ask me, this is where Lucas becomes the true hero of the storyline. For weeks, Lucas has been operating without the information he needed. He sensed that something was wrong, but he could not see the full picture. Now everything changes. Now he has a target. Now he has a location. Now he has a chance. But even then, Lucas cannot do it alone. This is where I believe Carly and Valentin enter the story in a much bigger way. What stands out to me is that each of them brings something different to the rescue effort. Lucas brings determination, Carly brings urgency, Valentin brings experience and strategy. Together, they become exactly the kind of team capable of pulling off a mission that nobody else can accomplish. Guys, can you imagine the tension? While Sonny is dealing with the fallout from Pascal's death, Lucas, Carly, and Valentin are secretly moving toward Windermere. Every minute matters. Every mistake matters. Every delay matters. Because nobody knows how much time Jocelyn has left. And that uncertainty is what keeps the suspense alive. The way I see it, the emotional payoff of this storyline is not Pascal's confession. It is not Pascal's death. It is not even Sonny's breakdown. The true payoff comes when Lucas refuses to give up, when Carly refuses to stop fighting, when Valentine risks everything to help, and when Jocelyn finally gets a chance to reclaim her freedom. That is why I believe this storyline has been structured the way it has. First comes the secret, then comes the confession, then comes the tragedy, then comes the rescue. Each event triggers the next. Each choice creates a consequence. Each consequence pushes the story forward. And that brings me back to the question I asked at the beginning. Will Pascal survive long enough to tell Sonny the truth? Ironically, I think the answer is yes, but only barely. Because if you ask me, Pascal's purpose in this story is not to survive. His purpose is to unleash the truth. And once that truth is released, everything changes. Sonny loses control. Pascal pays the ultimate price. Lucas launches a desperate rescue mission. Carly and Valentine join the fight. And Jocelyn's future hangs in the balance. Guys, that is why I think this storyline is far bigger than a simple captivity plot. It is a chain reaction. And once the first domino falls, nobody in Port Charles will be able to stop what comes next.